My name is Jerry, and welcome into my studio. I'm a filmmaker and educator, and this is a little series I put together called Notes to a New Artist. And they're basically things that I've learned over 20 years of creating that I wish I would have known a little sooner. And today's note is going to hurt some of your feelings, but your film's never gonna make any money. If you research the history of film for a little while, everything becomes apparent that films just are not very financially viable. So why do we make them? I personally made 3 films, feature films, that all fit into this category, and so I wanted to see if my eyes deceived me, or is it true that films really never recoup their initial investment? So I headed over to the US Copyright Office, and I found out that over 1 million motion picture publications had been registered since I was born in 1987, over 26,000 films per year. The odds are gonna be stacked against you to ever make any money. So Jerry, maybe your period boxing film you're trying to make at 24 isn't the place to start. But it doesn't mean you should give up. Before we go deeper, I could talk about corporate greed from Edison to Ellison, but instead I want to just talk about why I think you should give your art away. If you do this long enough, you're eventually going to get a distribution call. I remember it well. Everything we'd worked for was coming true. People would finally get to see our little film, we'd get paid, and little did I know 5 years later I would see very little money and even less of an understanding of who watched or rented the film. My second go-round was supposed to be a little different. The Netflix of indies, they called themselves. That was their nickname, not mine. And even less money. Even less transparency somehow. I still never learned how much money my films have made or how many people actually watch them. In theory, I basically gave the films away to a distributor, made nothing, and so why would I ask you to do the same? Because I want your work to actually be seen. I want you to know who's watching. I want you to create a community, not just chase distribution deals. I personally never got that chance, and this is why I'm here today saying, give it away. It's never gonna make any money anyway, because that's not what art is for. Art is priceless. It lives in the people who watch it. If they can afford to pay, they probably wouldn't need to see it to begin with. Over 1 million copyright submissions? And while I didn't look into all their business models, history does tell us that the chances of recouping your funds are extremely low. So did they all create with the hopes of being rich and famous? I kind of doubt it. So how long will you wait to show your work? How long will you talk about your creations without letting anyone experience them? My first feature film was completed over 10 years ago, and even today, it still takes time to keep it alive. This is a marathon with no ending point. It is not a race. So what happens if you give a little away? Over the past year, my previous distribution deals became null and void. So I decided to start doing it my way. From giving away DVDs in local free libraries around my neighborhoods, putting films and physical media stores around the country, or even driving 2,000 miles round trip to give copies to the last Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon. None of these paid me a thing, and that was the point. They fed something in my soul. So if you're really making work, sometimes you have to give it away. It might be that your current audience can't financially support you, but maybe they do have 90 minutes to spend with your ideas and your view of point of the world, or even just 10 minutes watching a short doc, or 30 seconds watching a short on TikTok or a photo. Who knows? Someone a decade later might be watching your work and be inspired to create their own. All right, so if you made it to the end of this video, I want to walk the walk and I want to give away 5 copies of my newest feature film, Seize the Carp, on physical media. And it's going to be super easy to enter. All you're going to have to do is like and subscribe to this channel. If you made it this far, I hope that you liked it. And drop a comment below on what you are currently working on. I also need you to go sign up for my newsletter at bronsoncreative.us, and that's just to make sure you're a real human. As soon as this YouTube channel hits 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to put my first feature, The Horror, on this channel to watch for free. I'll be selecting the 5 winners at random on November 12th, 2025. There is no purchase to enter. This is not sponsored by YouTube. It's just a way for me to give back. Remember, not every choice in your life should be dictated by how much money it will make. Over 20 years of creating, I've realized that's not the point of being human. Share your work, be kind, let's grow together, and thank you for stopping by. I can't wait to see what you create.